Seniors, 5 exercises are the reason I've never been sick in 30 years. What if your next fall could be your last? I don't say that to scare you. I say it because it nearly happened to me. I was 68, healthy, active, or so I thought, until one morning, I stood up too fast and everything spun and suddenly, the ground was closer than I expected. I didn't break a bone, but I broke something else, my illusion of safety. That day, I made a promise to myself I would never let my body fade quietly into weakness. Now, I'm 92. I still walk without pain. I sleep through the night. I haven't caught a cold in over 40 years. And no, it's not because I have good genes. It's because I have good habits. Quiet, powerful, daily habits that rebuilt my balance, my immunity, my strength, and my sense of control. In this video, I'll show you the 5 simple movements that saved my independence. No gym, no pills, no pressure, just presence. So if you're over 60 or love someone who has hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, what you learn here could protect the next 10 years of your life or someone else's. Let's begin. Part 1, the 3-minute awakening, how I start my day without pain. They say the first hour of your day sets the tone for the rest of it, and for seniors, it can set the tone for the rest of your life. At 92, the way I get out of bed isn't just a habit, it's my lifeline. Because I've seen what happens when you rush the moment your eyes open, and I've seen what changes when you slow down and give your body the message it longs to hear you are safe. And we're not done yet. This 3-minute ritual has prevented more pain, more falls, and more fear than anything else I've ever tried. Here's how I begin each day and why it matters. I stay lying down for a full minute after waking, allowing my heart rate and blood pressure to rise gradually. I gently roll my head left and right, slowly waking the nerves along my spine and neck. I bring my knees toward my chest and cradle them, rocking side to side like I'm soothing my own nervous system. I stretch my arms above my head, fingers wide, breathing deeply into my belly. I roll to one side, pause, and only then slowly push up to sitting, never rushing the process. These movements may look like nothing, but neurologically, they are everything. According to a study in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy, seniors who practice spinal mobilization in the first hour of the day reduce fall risk by up to 36% and report better cognitive focus throughout the morning. Because here's what most people don't realize. The spine is the body's communication superhighway. If it's stiff or shocked, your digestion, balance, memory, and even mood can suffer. When you leap out of bed, blood pressure can spike suddenly, leading to dizziness, confusion, or in serious cases, fainting or stroke. Muscle stiffness in the morning is highest in seniors due to overnight fluid redistribution and natural inflammatory cycles. That's why mobility rituals are more essential with age, not less. Emotionally, this ritual changed something deeper for me. I no longer start the day reacting to life. I start by connecting with it. That 3 minutes is my signal I'm here, I'm awake, and I matter. Now, you might be thinking, can something so small really make a difference? It can, because every big injury I've seen in my peers started small. One fast movement, one misstep, one rushed morning. And here's the good news. This is a ritual you can do even with pain, even with limited mobility, even from a hospital bed. It's not about strength, it's about signal. You are telling your nervous system to wake up gently, to align your organs and muscles, to start the day on your own terms. Once I've honored my spine, I move to the next step, rebuilding strength in the simplest place of all, the kitchen chair. Part 2, the kitchen chair revival, reclaiming strength without leaving the house. After I started waking my spine with care, I realized something. It's not enough to rise gently. You must also rise strong. That realization came the day I reached for a pan and nearly lost my balance. It wasn't a big fall, but it felt like a warning. I had begun to feel weaker, not because of illness, but because of erosion strength slipping away one unchallenged muscle at a time. That's when I turned to the simplest object in my home, my kitchen chair. This chair became my training ground, not for fitness, but for freedom. Here's what I do and why it matters. I sit upright, feet flat, and slowly lift one leg at a time, holding for 5 seconds before switching sides. I extend both arms in front of me, slowly raise and lower them 10 times with control. I squeeze my fists tight, then release 10 rounds to stimulate grip strength and circulation. I take 3 slow breaths between each movement to reconnect mind and body. This takes less than 5 minutes. But the results, life-changing. According to the journals of gerontology, seniors who practice seated leg and arm raises improve lower limb strength by 28% in just 6 weeks and cut fall risk by over 30%. That's more than numbers. It means walking upstairs without gasping, standing from the toilet without help, reaching a high shelf without fear of falling, and it means emotional dignity, feeling capable again. Not like someone waiting to be rescued, because strength isn't about lifting heavy things. It's about reclaiming agency in the things that matter, carrying groceries, hugging your grandchildren, or opening a jar without pain. I used to think movement had to be intense to work. But the truth is, at this stage of life, consistency beats intensity. Every gentle repetition is a quiet message to the body you still matter. Even on bad days when my knees ache or I didn't sleep well, I still sit in that chair. Not because I have to, but because I get to. Because 5 minutes of movement is always better than none. The chair also became a place of focus. When I'm there, I'm not distracted. No TV, no phone, just me, my breath, and the muscle I'm choosing to awaken. And when I began showing this to friends, people recovering from surgery, living with arthritis, or simply afraid of falling, they told me the same thing. I feel like I'm getting my body back. That's the beauty of this practice. You don't need a gym. You don't need youth. You don't even need to stand. You just need to start. And once you feel your strength returning, the next thing you'll want to reclaim is deeper your sense of inner calm, control, and resilience. That's when I discovered the breath that changed everything. Part 3, the breath that healed me, reversing stress and fatigue from the inside out. After strength began returning to my legs, I thought I had won the battle. But then came the fatigue, a kind that no exercise could touch. It was different from tiredness. It was like walking through fog. My thoughts slowed. My digestion became unpredictable. I'd snap at little things. I wasn't sick, but I wasn't well either. My doctor said my labs were normal. I knew better. Something inside me was stuck in overdrive. That's when I discovered the breath. It sounds too simple, almost laughable, but it was the missing piece I didn't know I needed. Here's how I started healing from the inside out. I practiced the 4-7-8 breathing method. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. I did 4 rounds in the morning, 4 rounds before bed. I sat still, eyes closed, spine straight, hands resting gently in my lap. I imagined every breath as a signal you are safe, you are calm, you are healing. What changed? My heart stopped racing at night. My sleep deepened and so did my dreams. My digestion began working again. My mood leveled out, no more snapping, no more gloom. My immune system felt unstoppable. I didn't get sick, even during flu season. This wasn't just placebo. It was physiology. According to research published in Frontiers in Psychology, deep rhythmic breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest, repair, and digestion. It reduces cortisol, balances blood sugar, and increases oxygen delivery to your organs. It even helps improve memory and emotional resilience in older adults. And perhaps more importantly, it gives your body permission to stop fighting. It resets your internal clock after years of stress. It creates space between stimulus and reaction space where peace can grow. I used to believe breath was automatic, something that happened without effort. But now I see it as medicine, a form of nourishment, a bridge between the chaos of aging and the calm of presence. On days when I feel overwhelmed, I don't reach for coffee or supplements anymore. I reach for my breath. It's free. It's always with you. And it can restore what medicine can't, your ability to feel whole. Now that my breath feels like an ally, I've returned to another old friend, one I used to take for granted, walking. But this time, I walk not just to move, but to remember who I am. Part 4. Walking back into life. The 15-minute ritual that restored my energy and purpose. Once I reclaimed my breath, I thought I had found balance. But balance without motion is like a song without rhythm. I needed to move again, not just stretch or lift, but go somewhere. That's when walking became my medicine. In my younger years, I walked for errands or speed. I rushed through sidewalks like they were to-do lists. But in my mid-60s, after retirement and a season of quiet loneliness, I realized I wasn't really walking anymore. I was drifting. The solution wasn't a treadmill or a pedometer. It was something simpler: 15 minutes, every morning, outdoors in silence. This practice became sacred for several reasons. I stepped outside with no phone, no music, just the sound of my breath and footsteps. I walked slowly, focusing on each step, feeling the ground beneath me. I breathed in through my nose and out through my mouth, aligning movement with breath. I noticed the trees, the air, the sky, letting nature reset my mental clutter. I smiled, even when I didn't feel like it, because smiling while walking lifts mood and lowers blood pressure. The impact was deep, both physically and emotionally. According to the British Journal of Sports Medicine, walking for just 20 minutes daily can reduce systemic inflammation in older adults by over 30%. Another study from Stanford University found that walking outdoors improves creativity and mental clarity significantly more than sitting indoors. What I noticed in myself was even more powerful. My digestion improved. My posture became more upright. My thinking cleared, no more mental fog. My legs grew steadier, and I no longer feared uneven sidewalks. My sense of time expanded. I felt like I had more day to live. But perhaps the greatest gift was emotional. Walking gave me back my sense of direction. Even when life felt uncertain, it helped me process grief, loneliness, and frustration in motion. It reconnected me with the world, not through screens, but through breath, air, and ground. This wasn't exercise in the traditional sense. It was self-respect in motion, and it was gentle enough for my joints, reliable enough for my schedule, and powerful enough to restore my sense of autonomy. Even now, rain or shine, I walk every day, not out of guilt, but out of gratitude, because every step I take reminds me I am not stuck. I am not done. I am alive. If you're someone who hasn't walked in weeks, months, or years, I invite you to try. Even 5 minutes can change your chemistry. Even walking around your home counts. And once your legs feel strong beneath you again, you'll want to make sure your grip matches your stride. That's where we go next. Part 5. The Sacred Morning Hand Ritual. Strength hidden in your fingers. After I rebuilt strength in my legs and found my rhythm again through walking, I began to notice something smaller, but just as essential. My grip was fading. It started with little things. I couldn't open jars I used to twist with ease. My handwriting grew shaky. I dropped my keys twice in 1 week. And worst of all, I started avoiding buttons, zippers, and anything that required fine control. That's when I realized the first real sign of dependency in old age doesn't come from the legs. It comes from the hands. But instead of surrendering, I began a morning ritual that restored more than my grip. It restored my confidence. Every morning, before touching a spoon or phone, I sit quietly and do this. I stretch my fingers out as wide as possible, holding for 5 seconds. I curl them inward into a firm fist. Hold for 5 more seconds. Then release. I repeat this 10 times, paying attention to the warmth spreading into my palms. I then rotate my wrists slowly, 5 circles each direction, to loosen tension. It's small, it's silent, but it's sacred. According to a 2022 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, older adults who performed hand-strengthening exercises for just 10 minutes a day showed a 42% improvement in grip strength after 8 weeks and reported fewer daily limitations. Why does this matter? Grip strength is now considered one of the strongest predictors of overall longevity. Loss of hand control often leads to early dependence on caregivers for simple tasks. Strengthening the hands improves neural signaling to the brain, reducing cognitive decline. But beyond the science, here's what it gave me. I could write birthday cards again, without shame. I could hold a grandchild's hand without fear of letting go. I could open my front door without struggling or calling for help. More than anything, it reminded me that my hands are not just tools. They're a part of my identity. They cook, they clean, they comfort, they create. And when they weaken, it can feel like a piece of your independence is slipping away, finger by finger. That's why I never skip this ritual. Not because it's hard, but because it's humbling. It reminds me that power doesn't always roar sometimes. It whispers from your palms. And when my hands are strong, I feel ready to live another day, to care for myself, and to hold on to what matters most. Now, if you followed me this far through the spine, the chair, the breath, the walk, and the hands, you might be wondering, how do I end the day? That answer, my friend, holds the quiet key to aging in reverse, and we'll uncover it next. Looking back at these 5 quiet rituals, the way I rise, sit, breathe, walk, and open my hands, I see now they were never just exercises. They were promises, gentle promises I made to my body. Every day, that said I have not given up on you. We live in a world that tells older adults to slow down, step back, make room for the young. But I believe the opposite. As we age, we deserve to step into our strength, not away from it. And strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it shows up in a breath, a stretch, a single step taken with intention. These habits won't make headlines, but they've given me something more valuable than attention: independence, peace of mind, a body I can still rely on, not out of luck, but because I showed up for it again and again. If there's one thing I've learned after 92 years, it's this: health after 60 doesn't come from trying to do everything. It comes from doing a few small things with care, with presence, and with love. So I ask you now, gently, which habit will you begin tomorrow? If this video gave you something meaningful, hope, clarity, motivation, leave a comment below. Let us know your story. Your voice might just help someone else begin again. And if you'd like more gentle guidance like this, hit the subscribe button and stay with us. The journey towards strength, peace, and dignity isn't behind us, it's here, and it's still unfolding. Let's walk it together.